You're about to hear gentle words designed to guide you through anxiety, accompanied by calming visuals and music. To skip straight to the peaceful landscapes, go to the last chapter. You wake up with a knot in your stomach, your heart racing, but nothing bad has happened. You check your phone, scan your life, search for problems, but everything seems fine. So why does this invisible weight crush your chest every single day? That unexplained anxiety you feel isn't random. It's a warning signal that most people completely misunderstand. While everyone searches for external triggers, the real source lies hidden in something so fundamental to human existence that we rarely question it. This invisible force shapes every decision you make, yet remains completely unnoticed. Over 150 years ago, a Danish philosopher named Søren Kierkegaard identified this exact phenomenon and called it the dizziness of freedom. He discovered that our anxiety doesn't come from what happens to us, but from something far more unsettling, the overwhelming weight of infinite possibilities. Today, modern psychology confirms what Kierkegaard intuited. We're not anxious about our problems. We're anxious about our choices. Think about the last time you stood in a grocery store aisle, paralyzed by 30 different cereal options. That moment of hesitation, that subtle stress creeping in, that's your brain experiencing what Kierkegaard called anxiety in the face of possibility. Every choice you don't make haunts you with the question, what if I'm choosing wrong? This isn't weakness, it's the human condition. Your ancestors faced life or death decisions maybe once a week. You face hundreds of choices before breakfast: what to wear, what to eat, which route to take, which message to answer first. Each decision carries the weight of infinite alternatives, and your primitive brain interprets this cognitive overload as danger. The result? Chronic anxiety that feels like it comes from nowhere, when it actually comes from everywhere. Kierkegaard observed that humans are the only creatures cursed with awareness of their own freedom. A lion doesn't agonize over career paths or relationship choices. It simply follows instinct. But you're trapped between infinite possibilities and the terrifying responsibility of choosing just one. Every path you take means abandoning countless others, and your mind rebels against this limitation. This is why you feel most anxious during transitions, changing jobs, ending relationships, or moving cities. It's not the change itself that terrifies you. It's the moment when all possibilities collapse into a single reality. Your brain screams warnings because it knows that once you choose, you can never go back to that moment of pure potential. The anxiety is your psyche mourning the death of infinite possibilities. Modern society amplifies this ancient problem exponentially. Social media shows you thousands of lives you could be living, careers you could be pursuing, places you could be visiting. Dating apps present endless romantic possibilities. Online courses promise infinite skills you could master. Your great-grandfather had maybe 5 career options. You have 5,000. The paradox of choice has become a psychological epidemic. The cruelest part? The more options you have, the less satisfied you become with your choices. Psychologist Barry Schwartz calls this the paradox of choice, when having more options leads to more anxiety, not more happiness. Your unexplained anxiety isn't a malfunction. It's your mind drowning in an ocean of possibilities, desperately searching for solid ground that no longer exists. Kierkegaard didn't just identify this problem, he lived it. Known as the father of existentialism, he spent his entire life wrestling with the weight of choice and freedom. His concept of angst wasn't about fear of specific things, but about the dizzying realization that we must constantly choose who we become. He wrote, "The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have." This wasn't philosophy. It was his personal battle with choice anxiety. Modern neuroscience validates Kierkegaard's insights with stunning precision. Dr. Sheena Iyengar's groundbreaking research at Columbia University revealed that when people face too many options, their brains literally shut down decision-making processes. The anterior cingulate cortex, your brain's conflict monitor, goes into overdrive, triggering the same stress response as physical danger. Your anxiety isn't imaginary, it's neurological. Psychologist Tim Kasser's studies show that people in choice-rich societies report higher levels of depression and anxiety than those in more restrictive cultures. The Amish, with their limited lifestyle options, show significantly lower rates of mental health issues. Meanwhile, countries with the most freedom and choices, like the United States and Western Europe, lead the world in anxiety disorders. Freedom, it turns out, comes with a hidden psychological tax. Dr. Dan Gilbert's Harvard research on affective forecasting reveals why choice anxiety persists. We're terrible at predicting what will make us happy. We agonize over decisions because we believe the wrong choice will ruin our lives. But as studies show, we adapt to almost any outcome. The anxiety comes not from making bad choices, but from the illusion that perfect choices exist. Kierkegaard understood this paradox 150 years before science could prove it. But here's what Kierkegaard discovered that will completely change how you see your anxiety. The solution isn't to eliminate choices, it's to embrace what he called the leap of faith. This isn't religious faith, but something far more radical. It's the courage to choose without certainty, to act without guarantees, to accept that every decision is made in darkness. The people who master this concept report a strange phenomenon. Their anxiety transforms into excitement. There's a hidden pattern in how successful people handle choice anxiety that most never notice. They don't spend less time deciding, they spend less time regretting. Kierkegaard called this authentic existence, the ability to own your choices so completely that you stop mourning the paths not taken. But there's a specific mental technique that makes this possible, and it's the opposite of what most self-help advice suggests. Recent studies reveal something shocking about people who claim to feel no anxiety about choices. They're not actually making fewer decisions. Instead, they've developed what psychologists call choice architecture, a hidden system that makes decisions feel automatic. These people have cracked a code that Kierkegaard hinted at but never fully explained. The technique involves rewiring how your brain processes possibilities themselves. The most intriguing part? This method doesn't just reduce anxiety, it actually increases life satisfaction and achievement. People who master Kierkegaard's approach report feeling more alive, more authentic, and paradoxically, more free despite making more definitive choices. There's a specific reason why embracing limitation creates the feeling of expansion, and it challenges everything you think you know about freedom and happiness. When you finally understand that your anxiety comes from choice overload, something profound shifts in your psychological landscape. The knot in your stomach stops feeling like a mysterious enemy and becomes a recognizable signal, your mind's alarm system alerting you to decision fatigue. This awareness alone reduces the secondary anxiety that comes from not understanding why you feel anxious. You're no longer fighting an invisible monster. You're managing a known psychological process. The psychological relief of naming this phenomenon creates what therapists call cognitive diffusion, the ability to observe your thoughts without being consumed by them. Instead of thinking, "I'm anxious for no reason," you begin to think, "I'm experiencing choice anxiety because my brain is overwhelmed by possibilities." This simple reframe activates your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, and deactivates your amygdala, the fear center. The anxiety doesn't disappear, but it loses its power to control you. But here's where it gets psychologically fascinating. People who embrace Kierkegaard's concept of authentic choice report experiencing what researchers call eudaimonic well-being, a deep sense of meaning that transcends temporary happiness. Unlike hedonic pleasure, which fades quickly, this satisfaction grows stronger over time. Your brain literally rewires itself to find fulfillment in the act of choosing rather than in having perfect options. The most dramatic psychological shift happens when you stop viewing unchosen possibilities as losses and start seeing them as the price of authentic living. Kierkegaard called this the courage to be yourself, accepting that becoming someone specific means not becoming everyone else. People who master this mindset report a phenomenon psychologists call choice satisfaction. They become genuinely happy with decisions that would have previously triggered regret and anxiety. Your unexplained anxiety isn't a flaw in your design. It's proof that you're fully human. Kierkegaard's warning about choice wasn't meant to paralyze you with fear, but to awaken you to the magnificent burden of freedom. Every moment of choice anxiety is your psyche, recognizing the weight of your own agency, the terrifying and beautiful reality that you are the author of your own existence. This anxiety is not your enemy, it's the price of consciousness itself. The next time that familiar knot forms in your stomach, remember, you're not broken, you're not weak, and you're definitely not alone. You're experiencing the fundamental human condition that Kierkegaard identified over a century ago, the dizziness that comes from standing at the edge of infinite possibility. The anxiety will never completely disappear, but now you know what it really is. Not a warning of danger, but a reminder of your freedom. So embrace the anxiety, make the choice, and step boldly into the unknown. Because the alternative, living in the paralysis of infinite possibility, isn't really living at all. Kierkegaard understood that authentic existence requires the courage to choose imperfectly, to act without certainty, and to find meaning not in having all the answers, but in having the strength to keep choosing. Your anxiety isn't holding you back from life, it's the very thing that makes you alive.